If you struggle with shrinking yourself, you don't want to, but for some reason you just find yourself constantly shrinking yourself. You don't like it, you don't want it, it happens involuntarily. You notice when it happens sometimes, but you don't know how to get yourself out of it. If that's you, I want you to join this conversation because we're going to unpack that. I'm Nyah, and this is Unshrink, where we talk about being more confident to take up space so that you will not be walked over anymore. So the first thing that I wanted to unpack is, why does it happen? Where is it coming from? What happened? Like, how did we get here? Why do we feel the need at times to shrink ourselves? The reason why you shrink yourself is because you associate shrinking yourself with being safe. And there's a reason for it. There was a point in your life where you did not shrink yourself. There was a point in your life where you just came to places and around people the way that you are, with your natural ideas, perspectives, thoughts, views, just as you are. But it changed because when you showed up like that in these spaces, somebody had an issue with it. So what it looks like is like this. If you have a high level of awareness and you are vocal about what you perceive, you're vocal about your needs, you're labeled as difficult. You have a strong moral compass. There are things that you notice that are not right or are not just, and you point them out. You're called judgmental, holier than thou. You're called a know-it-all. You have standards and you have expectations from people based on these standards and even on principles that you uphold for yourself and that you believe that is the right way to go about life. Again, you are called difficult because it's not that deep. What are you worried about? Things like that. Or you want accountability from somebody. You just want to have a conversation about something, you experienced something with a person and it didn't sit well with you, it rubbed you the wrong way. So you just wanted to have a conversation with the person, like as adults or as human beings. We talk things over, we talk about how we feel, we express ourselves. So you seek accountability, but you're told, oh, let it go, or forgive, let it go. No, like, we should be able to talk things over. We should be able to talk about things, unpack things, solve problems, and then move on from that point onward. That's the normal way to go about things. However, these people found a way to make it seem like you're difficult for wanting common respect or having an adult interaction or mature conversation about certain situations. Basically, conflict resolution. You were asking too much. It was too much. And it was your fault. Do you see the pattern there? You express yourself, you express your views, your beliefs, your ideas. And you are either being dismissed or shut down. And so what happens is that if that happens too often, now you get accustomed to that experience, especially when aggression is used to get you to that point. When you were met with aggression whenever you expressed yourself. And that makes it more than logical that you now associate not expressing yourself, and so making yourself small, with being safe, because you know that now if you don't express yourself, nobody has a reason to take offense with anything that you say or to attack you. So it's normal. It's very understandable that you associate being small with being safe. However, here's what I want you to know about why people have this response to you expressing yourself. Because it will help you to stop having this response of shrinking yourself the moment that somebody meets you with microaggressions or even macroaggressions. In order for us to stop shrinking ourselves, we need to have the right understanding of why this happens so that we can also have the right response going forward. If you're convinced that these people are right for shutting you down, for saying that you're too judgmental, that you're doing too much, thinking too much, expecting too much, you start internalizing that the problem is you, that you are the problem. And so no matter where you come, subconsciously that is in your mind. And so you keep trying to adjust, you keep trying to make sure that you match that thing that these people once have put in your mind, that expectation that you believe people have of you, to make sure that you fit in. But what if you were never meant to fit in? We were not meant to necessarily fit in. The only place that we were meant to fit in is in the agenda and the purpose of God for our lives. That's the only place you have to fit in. And mind you, if you fit in that agenda and that purpose of God for your life, you'll find that there is a space for you in this world based on that purpose and that place for you in the agenda of God. And spoiler alert, not everybody's going to like that. Not everybody's going to agree with that. And the reason why is because you're not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and that's fine. So back to why these people do this, right? Reason why people shut you down. What the reason why people dismiss you when you express yourself or even attack you is because they're toxic. It's not because anything is wrong with you. It's because there's something wrong with them and they're projecting it onto you. It's simply put because they're toxic. There's no long explanation necessary for this. They're just toxic. And I'll explain to you how so. It is all about control. Look at the things that I told you about just now. You have a high level of awareness. You see things, you perceive things, you notice things. Also, you have a strong moral compass. You have a sense of responsibility. And so when something happens that should not happen, or something happens but it could have been done in a better way, you point it out. You let people know. You let the person who it concerns know. Not because you want to judge them, not because you want to be difficult, not because you want to put them, you want to embarrass them. No, it's just because you have seen something, you have noticed something, and you believe that that is only right to let the person know so that it can be improved upon. You're not even seeing it as, oh, this person is being irresponsible or is a bad person, or look at how. No, you're not looking at the situation and them judging them. No, because if not, then you would have kept it to yourself and you would have laughed at them whilst they continued to do whatever was wrong. No, you went ahead and told them. You're seeing it as like, sometimes people make mistakes and that's okay. That's why we have each other. If you miss something, if you overlook something, and I happen to catch it, well, praise God. That's why we have each other. So I come to you and I talk to you about it, and we solve the issue, and everybody's merry, right? That's how me and you are seeing it. These people don't see it that way. And the reason why is, and mind you, I'm specifically talking about people that are toxic. Because a healthy and mature individual will not attack you for coming to them politely or just expressing yourself to them. They have space for that. They even want you, they welcome it. They welcome constructive criticism. They welcome your views, your ideas. And the reason being is because they understand what community is. They understand the importance of the village. And they understand that if somebody from the village now comes to you, or comes to them in this case, and tells them about X, Y, and Z, they listen. So why do these people never accept it when you have something to say? They can never just hear you out or acknowledge what you have to say. Acknowledge that you made a point. Hear you out. Listen to you. See from your point of view. Why is it that they never do that? It's about control. They want to be in control of the narrative and in control of you. Toxic people don't like principles and standards. If you're a person that has principles and standards, you're a principled person, and you hold people that you are close with, that you are in close proximity with, to these same standards, they don't like that. They don't like when you have principles. Because if you have principles and standards and you have expectations of people based on these same principles and standards, if they don't meet up to these expectations, now they have to be accountable. And toxic people don't like accountability. They don't like to have to tell people that they were wrong. They don't like to tell people that they made a mistake, that they can improve on something. They rather deflect, make it like you're the problem, twist the situation, find a way to twist the conversation and make themselves the victim so that you are made to look like the problem here. They don't like principles and they don't like standards because they don't like accountability. They lack it completely. That's one. Two, envy. This is, oh, you remind them of what they failed to be or what they failed to achieve by just being yourself and by just being present. And it becomes very obvious when you put the two of you next to each other. If you put the two of you next to each other, it's obvious to see who is the person with more quality. Permit me to say that. The person with a better character, the person who's more rounded, the person with more morals, the more principled person, the person that is more creative, the person that is more beautiful, the person that is more joyful, the person that is more vibrant. It's obvious. It's very obvious. And I don't like it. And so, because they cannot necessarily take away your radiance from you, they'll do things to try and get you to tone it down so that the way that you would naturally show up, that you will not show up like that anymore. Because if you're convinced, because that's what they're doing, right? They convince you that there is something wrong with the way that you naturally are, vibrant, brilliant, and beautiful. Bright. That's how you naturally are, by God's grace. And it shows in the way that you think, in the way that you speak, in the way that you approach life, the way that you carry yourself. And it is visible to people. You might not be aware of it. You might not notice because you're familiar with yourself. And this is just the way that you are wired. This is the way that God created you. So you're not going around thinking, oh, I'm so brilliant, I'm so vibrant, I'm so bright. No, you're just yourself. You don't notice when it's when it shows. You don't notice when it is noticeable or visible to the outside world. Because this is you. This is your natural state. But others notice and others see. But anyway, so, and I'm saying this because I want you to realize that when we're talking about being vibrant and being radiant, it's not in your skin. It's not in how beautiful your hair looks. It's not in the clothes that you wear necessarily. It is in the things that are an expression of what is within you, your soul, your views, your principles, your morals, your values, your dreams, your ideas, the things that you are passionate about, your talents, and then also the way that you are inspired to carry these things out. That's where your brilliance and your radiance is seen in ways that you don't realize it People are seeing your radiance. Your brilliance is evident. But it's not because of, oh, when you put one and two together, when you put how they view the world next to how you view the world together, that theirs looks uh, poor and yours looks more responsible or would make you to be preferred amongst people. No, and that does breed envy because they want to be the main character, and you are the main character in reality because of the way that you are, the more desired one because of the way that you are. They don't only envy you because of how it will look if you put the two of you next to each other, right? It's also because you remind them of what they have failed to achieve. And if they have inferiority complex, which they usually do, they don't feel like they can ever achieve it. And if they see you on your way to achieving it, which they know that you can and will because of the way that you are, they know that you're different. So if they see you on your way to getting there, they know that they can't take away your brilliance from you, your radiance from you. They can't take that from you. But they know that by way of manipulation, get you to have a different perspective and a different view on life, or on your own views and your own ideas and your own beliefs that make you this vibrant, that make you a wonderful person, then they have gotten you to the place where you don't shine as bright as you normally would because they convinced you to abandon the very thing that God has put inside of you to be this vibrant. That's how I know that these people are toxic. So this is the reason why whenever you express yourself, you're met with aggression, with microaggressions, or you're being shut down or rejected, or people deflect, is because of things like these. Toxic people don't like accountability, and toxic people are envious. So they try to make you believe that what your current beliefs are that are right and that make you a wonderful person, that is not right, so that you no longer flow in the very thing that make you a wonderful person. Because some people, they know good and well, they know very well when they're doing something that is wrong, but because they don't want to have accountability, they rather make it seem like you're the problem, you're the issue, you are too difficult, you have too high expectations, you have too high standards, you aim too high, you're too difficult, you're judgmental. These are not things that they necessarily believe, but they want you to believe it so that you can leave them alone. Or they want you to believe it so that they can now present themselves to be the person who they knew you to be all along, which was right. You are right. In other words, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't see the world wrongly. You're not manipulative. You don't have a toxic or a bad or unrealistic view on the world. The way that you are well rounded. Unlike them, they're not there. And because of immaturity and being toxic, they don't want to confirm. They don't want to acknowledge you. Also because of the envy, right? They don't want to acknowledge you because if they acknowledge that you're right, they have confirmed that you're right, and they've also confirmed that the person that they're envious of, so everything that you are, that they wish to be, that they are not. It just puts you further in a power position than you already are, and they don't want you to be there in the first place. They didn't want you to be there to begin with. So they rather not acknowledge you at all. They rather deflect. If they need a lie for it, they don't mind a lie. They don't mind to manipulate, to turn things around, to make it seem like you are the villain just so that they can feel empowered because they feel inferior to you. And all of this is happening without your knowledge. This is happening without you being aware of all these conversations and thought processes that are going through this person's mind or people's mind, if it's more people, if it's more than one person. Because you don't view yourself or the world the way that they're seeing it. So you're not seeing yourself, in other words, as competition to them. You are just yourself. Even if you look at these people, you see their value, you see what makes them a valuable member of society, you see their skills, you see their gifts, you see their beauty, you see things in them that are admirable. So you don't understand, you don't even understand why this person of all people should feel inferior to you. It's a mental illness, it's a sickness in the mind. Jealousy and envy is a sickness in the mind. Don't try and understand it. Just know when somebody has jealousy or envy, make sure that you are able to recognize it when somebody is envious and jealous. There's a particular vibe, there's a particular way that they come around you, that they behave. There's certain looks. You will sense it. You will sense it. If you sense it, if you see it, and you're like, hmm? you know, but you like to see the best in people. And so you're not necessarily, paying any attention to it. You're just brushing it off the moment that you have this thought because you like to see the best in people. You want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Sweetheart, let me tell you something right now. Don't do this to your own detriment. Everybody deserves grace. Yes. Everybody deserves kindness. Yes. But learn where to draw the line. You don't joke around with people that are envious and jealous. Don't wait until it's too late to draw the line. Okay? Anybody that comes and try to manipulate you, to try and gaslight you, to try and to deflect, to make you look weird in social settings and things like that, pay attention to these things. Okay? You love people genuinely. You want the best for people, but not because you have this pure heart towards them means that they have the same pure heart towards you. And so if they show you by their actions and the way that they're treating you that they don't really like you like that, don't try and force what's not there. Okay? Not even if they come back and try and be like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. Oh no. No. Because a jealous person will hate you, will not like you, but will always try to stay around you to take notes from how you're doing things, how you're dressing, what is new in your life. What are you doing? Are you what book are you reading? Where do you shop? What all these things that you think that, oh, these are just normal things, but these people are making notes, okay? Because they want your life. And mind you, I'm not one of these people that likes to be like, oh, these are just haters and people just hate you and da. No, I don't believe in that, because I personally believe that everybody has something from God that makes them a valuable person. Everybody has something to offer and to bring to the world. So we don't look at the world like that. But they do. They have inferiority complex. And it's more than that, but let's just leave it at that to not make this an extremely long episode. But I want you to have this understanding of why these people do these things. Because you're thinking that something is wrong with you. The reason why you are met with aggression is because you did something wrong. Because they convinced you that there was something wrong. And how do they do that? By acting offended. Toxic people are master manipulators. They know you didn't do anything wrong. They know there's nothing wrong with what you said, what you did, how you view the world, and you sharing about that with the person. They know that there's nothing wrong with it. And so if there's nothing wrong with the way that you express yourself, but to them it exposed their incompetence, it exposed their lack, it exposed their inferiority to you or in the world or in the social setting. They don't want that. They don't want whatever you have already seen to be wrong that you pointed out or that you brought to this person's attention, or that you've brought to the person's attention internally. Maybe you were just speaking, you shared what was on your mind, and unknowing to you, in their hearts it exposed to them again what darkness was there, or what thing that needs to be improved upon was there. They don't like that, period. They don't, whether it's visible to the world or to the outside or it's happening internally. They don't like to be exposed. They don't like when they feel that their incompetence or their failure is being exposed. And they think that you know, or they feel like you're seeing it. Because if they're feeling it, they feel like you are also seeing it. And so, since they don't want to be viewed as incompetent or as a failure, they're going to make it seem like you were the one who was wrong. But if there's not necessarily something that you did wrong, they're going to pretend like it was. And how do they do that? How do they manipulate you into thinking that you did something wrong when you didn't do anything wrong? Is by pretending to be offended, by shifting, or let me say, twisting your words, twisting your intention. You said A and you meant A, but some way, somehow, if you hear them tell you what they heard you say, it's B, C, D, E, F, and G, when you didn't say any of that. You said A. How did you come? How did you get there? How is that what you received? How is that what you got from what I told you? I said A. A. What is this? All of this is either a lie or is something that they believe, something that is wrong with them that they already believe, but then they play it back to you and say what they believe about themselves, and they put these words in your mouth, and they put it with such, they bring it to you with such conviction and so emotional, with anger usually, to intimidate you, or with with a lot of offense, being sad, and just bringing it to you like that. And now you're worried because you're like, no, that's not what I said at all. But because this person has managed to be so convincing in what they brought to you, telling you that you insulted them, now you're trying to manage their emotions and trying to get them to understand that you didn't mean to offend them. That's not what you said. Da, 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 da. They know that that's not what you said. This chaos that is happening in the moment, which they single-handedly brought, because you didn't raise your voice, you're not rude, you were not disrespectful, you just stated facts, or you just expressed the way that you see things. You were respectful with it, but they did somehow, it's just, they blew it up to be something that you never intended and something that you never even brought. But because they came and managed to turn and twist the situation around, twist your words, tell you that you had wrong intentions, blow the whole thing up, and then make you to be the villain. Because if you didn't do anything wrong, they wouldn't have had this reaction. They understand that when a person from the outside were to look at it, and even you being a person with a pure heart, you don't think that people would just randomly come and try to, become offended if they were not actually offended. So you think, oh, well, if this person is having this strong reaction, that must mean that they truly felt hurt. No, 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 no. It's all part of the game. So I want you to understand that all of this is part of a tactic. It is very intentionally done, because if it shook you so much and you were not able to recognize that this was manipulation, you start looking for how to avoid this from happening again. They might even come and advise you and tell you, hey, next time, don't say it this way, say it that way. It was not about how you said anything. And even when they come and tell you that don't say it this way, say it that way, you didn't even say it in this way that they're talking about. Manipulation. It's all manipulation. What for? To convince you that there's something wrong with you, your ideas, your perspective, so that you'll stop expressing yourself. Because in expressing yourself, your brilliance is seen, is experienced by people, and they don't want that. They don't want it to be visible or noticeable that you are a brilliant person, that you're a vibrant person. That's the whole goal. So understand why people have these issues with you. It's not because something's wrong with you. It's because they're seeing something in you and recognizing something great in you, beautiful about you, things that make you desirable and attractive that they don't have, which they wish they had, but they don't. And if they can't have it, then nobody else should have it. And since you are the person who they saw it with, you became the victim. You understand what I'm saying? It's not your fault. Because if you start trying to do what they suggest, if you try to manage these people's emotions so that they don't have a bad response to you expressing yourself, you start noticing that now everything that you do, subconsciously or even consciously, is just to make sure that this person doesn't pounce on you, or that these people don't pounce on you, or that these people won't start treating you badly, or that these people won't start, giving you the cold shoulder, or start making you feel in ways that you don't want to feel, because you're like, you just want to be happy and be in community with people. You don't want to fight. And so you're trying to manage and make sure. And this is how they convince you to abandon your light. So the next time that you feel the urge to shrink yourself, remember this. Know that the right people won't take offense with who you naturally are.